Hello, Visionary class. It's Ashley, your female class sponsor, and we're sharing this video with you all on May 9th, 2020, a wonderful but also somewhat bittersweet day. Wonderful because it's the day that you all have officially completed your undergraduate careers. Congratulations. But also bittersweet because under normal circumstances we all would have been together on campus celebrating this momentous achievement. But since this isn't normal circumstances, as I know you all are especially aware of, Jeremiah, the Walsh family, and I still wanted to take some time to commemorate this day with each of you and to share some words of encouragement as you start transitioning into the next phase of your lives. Transitionary times in our lives, like graduating from college, tends to come with a lot of uncertainty. You all might be facing questions right now about where you're going to live or where you're going to work, or just in general kind of what's next for your life. And if you're like many graduates, I think especially in these challenging times, trying to find the answers to those questions and dealing with some pretty uncertain answers can get a little bit overwhelming. So I just wanted to take a minute to say that God hears your concerns and He cares about the things that concern us, and He's providing for those concerns actively today. It might not look like we think it will look, but we can trust that God is always working for His glory and for our good. A story that's been helping me a lot, especially I think kind of in these uncertain times that we're facing now, is in Matthew chapter 6, when Jesus is talking to a crowd of people during His Sermon on the Mount. Towards the end of the chapter, He starts addressing some unspoken questions kind of that the people in the crowd were wrestling with. You know, questions about what they were going to eat or what they were going to wear and kind of what's next, right, in general. But Jesus, He knew their questions, right? That's kind of the first piece of this. He knew those were things that they were struggling with. But He also says that, you know, if God cares enough to make sure that the birds of the air have the food that they need and the flowers of the field are clothed, right? How much more does He care and provide for each of us? But even knowing that God provides for us, when we look out into kind of an unknown future, it can still feel a little overwhelming. But Jesus knew that too. And in the Lord's Prayer, He models how we should ask God for the things that we need. If you remember the line in the Lord's Prayer that says, "Give us this day our daily bread," right? It's a line that I really hadn't thought that much about before. And a while back, my pastor, he gave a sermon on the Lord's Prayer, and he kind of talked about this phrase specifically. And what he noted and drew attention to that I thought was really interesting is that, you know, in this prayer that Jesus is modeling for us, he's not suggesting that we ask God for our weekly bread or the bread we need to get us through this year or the bread that we would get from a really good paying job that would set us up for a really great retirement so we wouldn't have to worry about bread when we retire, right? That's not at all what Jesus was suggesting. Right? Jesus said to ask for our daily bread. And I think this is really great advice because it encourages us, first of all, to be in communion with God on a daily basis, which is something that is just so crucial and so enriching to our souls. But also asking for what we need for today is a lot less overwhelming than trying to ask for what we think we need for a future that we can't even see yet. So if you, either now or in the next few weeks or in the next few months, start to face some feelings of uncertainty about all of the kind of what's next of life. Just remember to take life one day at a time. Right? Pray for your daily bread and take heart in knowing that the same God who knows you and cares about you and provides for you today is the same God who's going to be walking with you in all of your tomorrows.
What's up, Visionary class? Jeremiah here, your other class sponsor. And before I get into anything, I just want to say how much I miss you guys and how proud I am of seeing all of you just walk this path since you were freshmen to graduating today and finishing your college education at Asbury. And so I just want to celebrate that. And like Ashley said, you guys are about to step into a whole new world that brings along its own challenges and its own opportunities. And besides the current situation we're in, going into the real world is a lot of uncertainty that pops up everywhere. And like Ashley said, there's this reality of this uncertainty, and that's always going to be with us. But we're also able to shift our mindset from living in all this uncertainty to living in the truth that God has for us. And so the passage that comes to mind for me, especially during times of uncertainty, is the passage that talks about the rich young ruler. And I think at some point we all can relate to the rich young ruler. Maybe not the rich part yet, but definitely when you think of this guy who is going up to Jesus and he asks, "Good teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?" When I read this passage and I think about the uncertainty, I can hear the uncertainty in his voice, and he's making sure that he's done everything right, so that he'll gain this reward. And so a lot of times, we are like that rich young ruler. We are uncertain of what's going to happen, and we want this security that we know that everything will turn out okay. And a lot of times we bring that to God, and we say we've done all these things. He's like, I've prepared this, I've done it like this and this. What else do I need to do? And then it says in verse 21 of Mark chapter 10, it says, Jesus felt a love for him, and he said to him, "One thing you lack, go and sell all you possess and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come, follow me." And we know the rest of the story. The rich young ruler can't handle that answer, and he can't bear to give all his possessions away, and he walks away and he turns away discouraged. But I think that there's this beauty in Jesus' answer that talks about he doesn't care about what you've done or what you've done wrong or what you've done well. He simply wants you to follow him and to be with him. And I think that's really important for you guys as you guys take a step into this new future, is that it's not about doing things for God. It's not about doing things for people, but Jesus simply wants you to be with him. And it's about being with Jesus. And we can live in all this uncertainty, and it's always going to confront us at some point. But the beauty of Jesus is that we get to live with him, and that all the gifts and the promises that God has promised us is because of his love and his truth, and not anything that we have to do to prove our worth to him. And so, guys, as y'all step out into this new world and this new world of opportunities, continue to hold on to that truth, continue to hold on to the faith, and to look for Jesus in every way, and to just continue to be with him, continue to be with the people that he's put in your life. And I'm so excited to see how God's going to work through all of you. So, miss you guys a lot. Love you. Congratulations on this amazing milestone. Visionary forever. Peace.
Ashley shared about uncertain times. And even though we are experiencing uncertainty on a worldwide level right now, major life changes always bring uncertainty. Jeremiah reminds us that amidst our uncertainty, we can trust the constancy of God.
Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will guide your path straight. We are so proud of you. We hope that you are each celebrating in your own way this weekend, but we can't wait to celebrate with you in person when we are all able to be together again.
Congratulations, Visionaries! You've made it! Yay!
Congratulations, Visionaries.
Congratulations, Visionary class.